And they start to forget that that's not them. It's make believe. But now they're going to start treating you like you're not her. You're not him. You're not who you are. And keep in mind, you're at a 20 and 30%. So you really don't know for real either. So they're going to dog you so bad. They're going to insult your intelligence so bad. They're going to treat you so dismissively so bad that that intelligence that you were suppressing, that knowledge that you were suppressing, that wisdom that you were suppressing, you're going to wake up and say, hold up, hell no. Because keep in mind, it's still a part of you. It's just sleep, right? You just put it to bed, but it can still awaken at any time. So you were like a little giant pretending to be like a little ant or something. But you really are a big dog, but you was pretending like you a pup just so you can have the company of people. But once you get tired and sick and tired of being disrespected, you're like, hold up, I'm about to show you something. I don't need you, right? It's like that God wakes you up and shake you up. Hold up, don't you, my child, do you not understand who you are? And once that God consciousness awakens, now the lights get turned on, right? Keep in mind, it's just a flicker. You're not even at full capacity. The lights ain't even on at home for real. It's just God flickers that light. Like, get out of here. Get up out of here. Get your stuff, pack your stuff, and get up out of here. So what malignant narcissistic people will do to you who want a destiny alter or destiny swap, they will treat you, dog you out so bad, especially if people like you and you're very likable. Keep in mind, some of that was performative because you was a people pleaser too. So you're very likable. So you have great rapport and great relationships with people. So they want to be in that essence. They can't just discard you and throw you away because then that'll make them look like the bad guy. They want the favor that you have with people. So they have to make you look like the bad guy to take that position and that take on their identity. So that's when those people will dog you out so bad, make it so unbearable that you leave, right? So once you leave and you exit stage left and get out of that situation, yes, it's painful. Yes, it's heartbreaking. Yes, it's soul crushing and all that stuff. But what ends up happening because of your obedience and you left and your soul got wearied in a situation, God will then begin to restore because he don't want to give you what he had been giving you before that person when they were around you. So whatever little blessings they were experiencing, it was micro blessings. It wasn't even no macro blessings for real. A micro is a small and then macro is big. So it wasn't even anything macro, but they got spoiled because they never had that experience. It was a vibe that they've never experienced. So they took it, got spoiled, ran away with it. And then they would come ever so often and take withdrawals, energetic withdrawals. But they got so spoiled with it, and then other people start being impressed with that energy that now they're like, man, I can get better people than you with your energy. I can go get better relationships than you. I can go get me a better partner, a better friend, a better whoever than you, a better job, and whatever. So they go on about their business. Once you discard them and you're like, man, I'm not taking this no more, they'll act like they accepted that. But they'll go and still take the little remnants of your energy and keep, parading it around with everybody else, sharing it with everyone else. However, what they'll realize is in this moment where you left a shell of yourself, you're still alive. So as long as you are alive, God can always restore and regenerate. So what happens is God blesses you and favors you because of your obedience. You walked away. So now he basically restores you by pouring out favor, grace, mercy. So you might have left with nothing, a shell of yourself, shattered confidence, fractured soul, confused, and everything. It is in this nothingness to a degree that God does his big one because he starts to pour into the empty cup again. Now he's filling you up again. Now, as he's filling you up, you're not even at half level. It was just maybe 25, maybe a quarter, which is like 25. So now 25, you're filled up. That malignant, narcissistic, warlock, witch, those people will start to see that the couple of months you were away or the year you were away, because keep in mind, you have not left the environment. You're still there. because you still don't know who you are. But God will just start to pour in a little bit, right? Resuscitate you just a little bit. And what happens is they'll start to see you bouncing back just a smidget. Like, hold up. I left you broken, or you left me. You were broken. You were broke. You were confused. You were fractured. You had no self-esteem. I took your confidence, everything. How is it that you're doing a slow build? And what it'll look like is now you get a new job. You might get a new car. You might get a new house. You might even get a little friend or two or something. But you start to look a little bit better. You ain't at keep in mind, you're not at peak form. God is just doing a little resuscitation. And that little small move of forward progress, they want war. Because now they're in their own energy and now you're in yours. Keep in mind your default setting is divine in favor. Their default setting is debauchery and chaos. So now they'll drop back down. How can you sustain an energy that's not your own? So their energy level will drop right back down to ground zero. Now God has put you at about 25. Now what happens is they get to see the demonstration of that favor. They want it again. But this time, they want to destroy you and crush you completely. This is when they start going into divination. Okay? This is when they go into divination. This curse of a lifetime is going to be the blessing of your life. These people are going to look at you and say, I left this, I shook them down, I robbed them, left them with nothing, or I made them leave me and they had nothing. I see them getting back on their feet. You're not on both feet. You're not even 10 toes down. You're at 5 toes. You ain't even 10 toes down. You're at 5 toes down. But they see you getting off that knee. You was on your knees. They see you getting up one knee. Once they know you get on your feet, it's a takeoff. They may not know to the degree and all of the details, but they know they never seen nothing like you. They never experienced nothing like you. And whoever you are for real in the soul level, you are going to take off. You're going to be something big. They don't know everything, but they know whoever you are destined for greatness in life. So what they do is they say, I can't understand this on a human level. I need some understanding of this. So this is when they get into divination to try to crack the code on you. I got to find out who this person is. I got to find out what's the source of their favor. I got to get to the source, right? I got to tap into the source. I need that pipeline. I need to go right. I don't want to go to a jeweler and get diamonds. I want to get to the mine. I got to go to the diamond mine, right? So they get the what? Digging. This is my analogy. When you want some precious metals and you don't want to keep going to the jeweler to get them, you want to get to the diamond mine. So in order to get there, you got to dig down into the ground to go get it. That's what they do to you. They become so obsessed, so enamored by who you are. They cannot crack the code on it, but they want the source so that they can have it for themselves. And they'll go and they'll get diviners to do readings, and they'll go ask people questions because it's above their spiritual pay grade. They can't tap in, even if they have intuitive abilities. You, the type of person that you are, they can't tap into that person. They can't tap into that individual and find out the source of that person. So what they do is they have to go get assistance. So they go get dark intelligence assistance by divination. And when they go consult these people, they'll bring whatever. It could be anything that they bring. Something from your person, something from your essence. If it was a spouse or if it was a boyfriend or girlfriend and you had any cohabitation, they could take anything. Your hair tie, a baseball cap, a sock that you wore, a pair of underwear, maybe a piece of your hair, maybe pictures, whatever, anything that you left behind, anything that they got their hands on that has some type of essence. And they'll take it and they'll tell them a little backstory about you. And depending on the ethics of the person, if it's about money, then the person doesn't care. It's not about principle and ethics. It's about money at that point. So they'll tell them something, and then the person will be able to tap in and maybe give them a little bit of what is the possibility of your future, right? So they'll tell them that this person is going to be this and that, but they don't know where you're going to get it from. They don't know all of that. They just know that, yeah, this person is destined for greatness. This individual is going to have a big, massive purpose over their life. They're going to be a multi-millionaire or a billionaire or something. And so this person's like, oh my God, I got to get that. I got to get that. So what happens is once you let evil creeps in, it gets more wicked than ever before. This is when these people come with the bright idea, which is not bright, a dark idea, to put you up for a life exchange. This is when you start getting spiritual contracts, where then they want to get deities and entities involved. Things that are things they have no business messing with. This is when they summons. You understand? This thing called evocation of the spirit, where they start to evoke old ancient beings and entities, stuff they don't have no business touching. Right? I like to use that movie, The Craft, as an example. When Nancy went and provoked Maneth, I think that's what she went and got. And when it summons that and did that invocation of the spirit, she had no business going to get this old, ancient, powerful entities awakening this thing from the dead. And she did. And that's why when the lady was in the store, she asked Nancy, you must be very experienced in this. She said, I'm a big girl, ma'am. Just take the money. And she became so drunk with the power. She wanted power so bad. They wanted to be you so bad. They wanted your essence so bad that they were willing to go and make a deal to try to go get it. Some of y'all are wondering, is it money that they were after? Is it when y'all think inheritance? Now, for some people, it could be physically, but y'all think inheritance, y'all thinking it's some actual land property. For some of us, it is land and stuff. But for many people, it's not nothing like that. And I hope that this is some type of level of spiritual closure for you, so you can go on with your life. And once you get bossed up, then if you want to go get you an investigator or someone to actually do some type of forensics on your background, then you can do that. But right now, you can't slow down to try to figure out what was taken from you. You need to boss up first to have the resources to do that. And I'm just being real. So forget about what you think was stolen. Don't worry about that. God will always restore sevenfold. I'm telling you, I'm a living witness and beyond. You can always get more stuff, right? So it's not about that. This is about your spiritual inheritance by way of your essence, who you are, what is destined for you in this lifetime. They wanted that. That's what they wanted. And so what they did was they went and struck a deal. I'm going to give this person up, just like I like to use the Princess and the Frog with Shadow Man and Navi. Navi was royal. Shadow Man, obviously, you know where he was, in the bayous of New Orleans. But I'm going to give this person up, and then I want to possess them. Whatever is meant for them is going to be mine. And so that's what they did. Many of these people, you refuse to believe it because you don't know how big you are. But as a spiritual person, once you come into this knowledge, God is already giving you the confirmation and the revelation to remove any doubt or confusion, to provide clarity for you so you can move on with your life. But when they struck this deal, it was a promise that they were giving you up. And it was going to be like taking candy from a baby, because you don't know who you are. Obviously, according to them, they've been around you, and obviously you didn't know, because you settled for them. You settled to make them a friend. You settled to make them a family member. You settled to make them a boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, spouse, partner. So obviously you didn't know, because why would you even have them in your company? So they've been around you enough to where they think they know. So they know this is going to be easy. They'll even up the ante. And what they'll do is get other people involved, right? And make promises to these people. Like, once I get on, I got a job. They're not going to tell them everything. They're going to make it speak to these people in human language, not spiritual language, because obviously they don't want people to think they're off, unless they're somebody trying to create a cult or something, right? Unless you're creating a spiritual cult, or unless you're in a secret cult, you're not going to use spiritual language for physical favors. So they're going to use physical language for spiritual favors. They're going to tell these people, I got a job lined up. I'm about to come into some money. And once I come into this money, I'm gonna break you off a little piece or what have you. But right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you $100, or you got a bill that needs to be paid or something like that. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna rub your palms a little bit, grease your palms, and then all I need you to do is do this for me. Drive past this house. I'm gonna tell you the address. Drive past this house. Don't do anything. Just sit in front of it. Why would I do that? That's stalking. No, 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 no. You're not stalking because you're not doing anything. You're not outside their window or nothing. I just want you to drive past this house and just sit there for a minute and then call me when you get there. Right? Might give them $100, give them $200 to do that. They're creating, without these people knowing, they're striking deals with people. Now, whatever's going to befall on those people who participated in trying to, they did not know, but participated in trying to derail your life, to cause any type of psychological issues to you, maybe make you go crazy, maybe cause a psychosis to you, maybe disturb your peace to make it very unbearable for your lifestyle, disrupt your stability, make it uncomfortable on your job, make it uncomfortable while you are on campus at school, make it uncomfortable in your neighborhood, anything that they did to try to shake up your foundation and stability. Because keep in mind, they want what you are destined for. You're destined for success. You're destined for stability. You're destined for riches. You're destined for abundance. You're destined for prosperity, peace, love, harmony, all of these great things. Well, they're going to go try to physically go force it away from you. That's okay, with the hopes that you would either get so miserable by them consistently bothering you and making your life a living hell that eventually you'll just want to give up in life altogether. And that way the contract is still standing, right? That means that if you give up on life and you throw in the towel, then the deity in the spiritual contract with these entities, they still gonna get the soul of, the body of the person. They're still gonna get that person, that precious blood of that person. And then they're going to possess, whatever was destined for you. So this is what they do. This is why you be like, man, it's been years. I'm still being stalked. It's been years. I'm still being harassed. It's been years. I'm still being lied on. It's to disturb your peace, to make your life a living hell, hopefully in hopes that you would just give on up so that they can still carry out this contract, and then it will get fulfilled. Right. However, what ends up happening to these people is they become so desperate in wanting that favor and wanting that money and wanting the abundance and wanting everything that your hard work is going to produce. They want the fruit so bad, they get sloppy and desperate. That's when they start getting more people involved, right? So they might have one or two that was doing stuff like reaching out to you with the hopes to kind of just watch you and keep an eye on you. Oh, where are they working now? What type of business do they have now? Oh, do they have a spouse now? Or are they, a new relationship now? Do they have any money now? Like just stuff about your life that has nothing to do with any other grown person. Because what business is it of yours? How I'm paying my bills or what I got going on in my life. This is what we call the evoking of monitoring spirits. It's not a spirit, it's a person just being nosy, watching you with the intent to get intel to take it back to that one person. That's the one that became obsessed with wanting to be you. So that person started getting all of these moving parts involved. So it's now all of these people involved, and they don't know what they're doing. They just know because they don't have the money. The person is giving them a little taste of money. They're just doing what the person said to do, depending on who the person is and what position they are in life. So they're just following orders. They don't know why, but they are. And then some people have low self-esteem so bad they just want to be a part of something. And then depending on who they are to you, if they're close to you, they may have never really liked you. And they may have thought that you've always thought that you was better than everybody, or you think you all of that. And now I get my chance to help this person destroy your life. They don't know why the person wants to destroy your life, but they just get to be a part of something bigger than them. And now for the first time in their life, they get to be in the in crowd because they felt like a reject in the past or something. We don't know what the psychological issues that people have. But narcissistic people, they know that when people are empty and void and they present these offers to these people. Now they done got all these people's souls involved, caught up in this spiritual transaction without their knowledge. And now they're just carrying out all of these orders. And they're wondering, why all of this for this one person? But they don't know that you're not one person. You are a massive force. And once you come into your own, even at a 50, things are going to shift in life, not just for you on this planet. You are massively influential for the consciousness of humanity and people. And this person don't even know how big this situation is. They don't even know they stepping on God's toes when they did what they did, trying to come after you for some superficial stuff like money, cars, maybe popularity, fame, whatever they thought you were going to have one day. So they prematurely acted upon it, became so enamored and obsessed and infatuated with wanting it, they got sloppy. And what ended up happening is, because you are energetically sensitive as a spiritually gifted person, you felt it and the energy was compounding. And so when you have all of this negative energy moving all at once, right, then nobody has to be doing a seance. Now, some people could if they're part of a secret cult. But if they're not, like if it's not a secret cult, what happens is the gossip alone, slander alone, many people watching you alone is an energy. And all of that directed energy, it creates, it compounds and it creates a powerful generator. And then all of that's coming at you at one time, right? And so what ends up happening is you don't know how to combat it. You just like, what is going on? You can feel it, but you can't process it. You cannot explain it, but you know it's something that you cannot see. So you go and you put in a petition. This is where it gets amazing. These people do the go to these divination people, put the contract in, and they promised that they were going to fulfill you by putting you up as a sacrifice, and they were going to get what they were supposed to get, the exchange, the destiny exchange. But what ends up happening is you go and put in a petition for God. For a lot of y'all spiritually gifted people, you never really talk to God for real. Let's keep it 100. You've always felt connected to God. You may have even, grew up in the church and everything like that. But we was always just kind of free, want to do our own thing. But God had always been there, right? He put a mark on you. So he always knows what his, prized possessions are. He has an invested interest. All of the heavenly host has an invested interest in you. You have a divine assignment to carry out. You have to carry it out. That's just the way everything was written before life, before you were portaled here, before your parents even came together to conceive you. It had to be done. It was written for the prophecy to be fulfilled. So what ends up happening is you end up putting in a petition because you're desperate to understand, like, God, I have no business being in this situation. I don't know what's going on with my life. People are moving funny around me. People are being weird towards me. People are lying on me. Like, my life is being flipped upside down. Now, this person is believing that they're in the destiny exchange, that they're living the exchange now. They're under the guise. This is what I love about spirituality. This is what I love about God. He does not play no games. The devil is such a trickster spirit. He have these people getting their fictitious confidence off believing they're in it, right? They're in the exchange now. So they riding a false wave. They got an advance. It's not real. Right? The contract hasn't been fulfilled, so they're not really in it, but they are in an advance. So they got the advance from Satan on the front end to carry out a mission. And then on the back end, they were going to get to be you with interest if they fulfill the contract. But you are still alive. For as long as you're still alive, it cannot be fulfilled. So what they did was they start getting cocky with that, arrogant in that light. And all of them, every one of them that played a part in trying to take your destiny, they all start getting cocky because what happened to you? You drifted into the background, right? That's what you did. That's what God told you to do. If this is your story, I'm telling the truth. You got drifted into the background. God told you to move into the shadows. This is where we're going to do work. Any real, like a person who is you don't know this, but if you are like a spiritual warrior, I don't really like using ninjas because they were hired assassins, but I love ancient Asian culture. So I study a lot of Bushido, samurais, ninjas, all of that. But just kind of like a ninja, a spiritual warrior, so to speak, you blended into you went from the foreground to the background. God drug you out of the light so he can do work, right? You were wounded. You were spiritually ambushed. You have no idea what they were doing. So once you got ambushed, you were wounded. Kind of like that man in the Bible, when the Good Samaritan found him, and the man had been stripped. The robbers had beat the man. They had took all his clothes. They took all of his valuables, and they left him on the side of the road, basically to die. And that's when the Good Samaritan saw the man. And even though he realized that they wasn't from the same tribe or from the same side of town, he still picked the man up. And of course, he cleaned him up and resuscitated him and everything. Well, that's what God did to you. You got ambushed. Then you got robbed, right? And then God drug you out of the light to resuscitate you, charge you up. When you put in that petition, you called on God. God, help me, Lord. I don't know what none of this is about, but I know this is not supposed to be my life. This is not supposed to be my life. You have lived a life of privilege and favor to some degree, even if you come from the bottom and from the mud of life. We call it, I'm from the mud, right? You come from maybe the trenches, or you come from impoverished areas, but you always had things and experienced stuff that many of your peers didn't get to experience. So you were spiritually privileged. Now here you go living a life that's not your own. Somebody's trying to force failure on you. They're trying to force a person that is gifted and blessed and favored to be cursed and fail and in disarray. So you like, this is not my default setting. I'm not supposed to be struggling like this. Things are supposed to be easy and in flow. This is not supposed to be my life. So you petition. Once you put in that request to God to help you, that's when he does his big one. So what ends up happening is that curse that they tried to put on you, that fictitious marker of misfortune, which was not your portion and not your destiny. What happens is God reveals it to you. The person that is after you, there's one individual. Now, the other moving parts, it doesn't matter about them. They're not a threat because it's the head of the snake, not the body. This head of this snake right here. The reason why this individual is so relentless and hateful to you is because you have something that they want. God, what is it that they want? You think you won't? I ain't got nothing. Like I work a 9 to 5, right? I'm riding around in a Honda. I'm riding around in a Kia. What do they want from me? You don't know what you are yet. And so what God is like telling you in this darkness, I will reveal in time. And so for a while, you don't get no answers. What ends up happening is you get peace over time. So you were in pain. Your heart was broken. You were crying every day. You felt like your voice didn't matter because people was lying on you. So nothing that you say will matter. The skill thing about malignant narcissists is they have a way with communication because of the python. And also because of the Leviathan, they're able to divide people and twist communication. That is the dark gift that they have with that entity. That spirit can twist communication. So no matter what you would have said, it wouldn't have mattered. So God says, just be quiet, right? And you're like, God, I'm a great orator. I love to talk. I want to talk. I'm being misrepresented. So what ends up happening is God said, be quiet. We know you got a slick mouth. We know you got the gift of gab. We know. Hush, my son. Hush, my daughter. So you followed orders. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to close my mouth. So then what ends up happening is you are in a stillness state, right? When you're in spiritual warfare so bad, all you want to do is rest and recharge, because anything about it, and I've dealt with this with my clients when we're dealing with self-deliverance and we are casting spirits and energy off of people. what you realize is that like you are extremely fatigued, right? That's one sign and indication of real serious witchcraft and spiritual warfare. So you're fatigued and all you want to do is rest. But even you, the one that I'm talking to that's extremely gifted, in your resting, you're still fighting. Your spirit is still fighting. The body is tired and weary and weak, but the spirit is still fighting for you. It is your tenacity, it is your endurance, it is your resilience that actually kept you alive. So the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. It is in these moments, in this hour of crucifixion. Oh my God, hallelujah. It is in these hours of crucifixion and persecution and people bearing false witness to strip us of our personal power and confidence and take us and strip us of who we were, to make us a shell of ourselves, that God is about to use that moment to resurrect you after this process. You do have to be crucified. And I'm being honest. You have to feel that loss, because he cannot elevate you and ascend you from that space. In that space, you have been conditioned to be a certain way. You had the ways of a foreign people. I don't care if those people were your family or relatives. Those people were in generational curses. Those people were living foreign lives that were not divine. So some parts of you were just like those people. Right? So God had to reveal that's not your family. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Them not your friends. Everything that you once knew was not real. It was an illusion. And you were also in that state to a degree. And the reason why you are still alive is because he kept his hand on you for this moment. So it all had to happen in order for your life's prophecy to be fulfilled. So yes, you were being crucified and persecuted in that moment, right? Just like Christ. This is why I love the Bible so much. When he say, pick up your cross and walk, you will be persecuted for my name's sake. Not because you're a Christian, but because you are in that frequency. You are the generational curse breaker, right? In order for you to live a life you never lived, you have to be someone that no one has ever seen. And before you can even come into that, he has to allow you to be, I'm sorry. I don't want to use the word because I don't want to hit, you know what I'm saying, community guidelines, but you have to be crushed. I'm going to use that word. You have to be spiritually crushed there is no remnants of that foreign place. In order for him to usher in this identity to you, to introduce this and reveal it to you, and to take the keys and unlock it, because there are parts of you that was in a vault, locked away, tucked away to even you. So he can't trust you with that version. He got to allow this to play out. You got to get stripped, babes. You got to go down to ground zero. So he will just tell you to be quiet. Just let it play out. And you thinking you just, man, I'm not participating in my life. I don't know what's becoming of my life. Man, look, this going to be my life. Like, I thought my life would be better than this. I had plans and goals, and I'm going through all of this. Will this ever let up? I feel I'm stuck in delay. I'm in the wilderness. Man, I don't know what's going on. You don't know what direction to take. And this is when God just said, just be. Just be. And then you see your enemies in that false confidence running around town with this false confidence, like they living in the dream. They're living in your destiny. You know what I'm saying? They're getting jobs now. They're getting promotions now. They're in friend circles that they've never been in now. They're getting all of this attention from women and men they've never gotten. And they're just high off of this false destiny exchange. And God is allowing it. And you're like, God, you supposed to be God. Disrupt this process. Do something. Do something. Your life is a whole drama at this point. You know? And you're like, do something. And God is doing what it appears to be like nothing. That is so powerful, because it is in this appearance of nothing that all the work is getting done. You got to get crushed. This is the purification process. This is the refinement process. This is literally going into the fire. The purification process is going into the fire, feeling massive uncomfortableness and an inconvenience to your whole program. You want to be doing something better, right? You would rather just be doing something better. I would rather be at school, God. I'm supposed to be on my job and in my business. I'm supposed to be racking up. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be getting married. I got stuff to do. But I'm being derailed by spiritual warfare. Yes, you are. He's like, yes, you are. Allow my child. It is in that full acceptance at ground zero when you are being purified, when you are being crushed in that acceptance. This is when God is allowing you to get stripped down to nothing. Because this is where he needs to work with. This is everything that he needs to work with is the nothingness to build it up to the something. So what happens is everything that you once had, that assurance, that confidence in yourself, this knowing, the cerebral ability to be so intelligent, to do, and you just always had it. I can get myself into this. I'm a master manifester. I can manifest anything. I can talk myself into places and out of places. Like you were so used to moving and shaking on your own merit, doing your own thing. Somebody came along and disrupted your program. It had to happen for you to do what? Rely on the source. You will never be what he has called you to be until you rely on the source. See, the person that tried to steal your destiny and the people that try to come and take what is rightfully yours, they didn't get that part. Whoever was the divination reader or whoever gave them this false knowledge, they didn't tell them that in order to become what they admired, they had to surrender their life to God to get it. That's the work. That's the work. To get the fruits of the labor, much of the labor has to be surrender. See, the witch didn't tell them that. The practitioner didn't tell them that. The shaman didn't tell them that. The witch doctor didn't tell them that. They didn't tell them that. You cannot become him or her unless you surrender to their source. Well, keep in mind, they wanted to get to your source. You wasn't even submitted to your source yet. It is in this full submission of obedience. It's when God starts to ascend you from that level. So you got resurrected. People wrote you off, said, oh, that person ain't never coming back from that. They done lost their mind. They've lost their way. We beat them down to the ground. We dogpiled. It's beyond repair. Everything that all of this beauty that they had, this talent that they had, these gifts that they had, that all of that stuff that they was running around here with, it is no more. We beat the confidence out of them. We took all of their self-esteem, all of their worth, everything, all of their ability. They ain't never gonna come up from here. And so they thought. So you got wrote off, right? And so people put you in that time capsule. Whatever that crucifixion or persecution of your life, they stuff you right there in that time capsule. That's the identity they always want to remember. That broken person that brokenness that they thought they did. So they put you right there. They're broken. We won. But you're still alive. And that's the problem for them. So they kept an eye on you when it comes to the monitoring. So people kept an eye on you. And what happened is God said, cut everybody off. Cut everybody off. But what about my mother, God? Cut her off. What about my best friend? Cut them off. What about my sister? Cut them off. Every relationship you thought you had. Because did they come to your aid? Was it a sense of urgency for you? Nobody cared. They showed they didn't care. It was an inconvenience and a disruption to their everyday flow. So it wasn't their life. So people didn't really care. Some people didn't care, and then some people participating in your sabotage and quote unquote what they thought was your downfall. But for some people, they just showed that it was another day. You okay? Okay, cool. And then you didn't talk to them in months. Didn't even look back to see if you were okay. Didn't care. God showed you the hearts of these people. So he said, cut them off. Where you are about to go, they're not qualified. And at that moment, you did not know where you were going. You just knew you were somewhere that you didn't want to be. So God said, cut them off. And because of your obedience and your desperation for peace, you did that. You cut everybody off, right? You cut them all off. You accepted that they didn't care. So when they thought they was withholding support or love from you and try to make you feel rejected or discouraged, because that was also a part of the plan, make you feel insignificant, right? Somebody who's a big deal, you gonna pretend like this person is nothing at all. They act like you was a piece of trash on the ground. Like you were valueless. Like you were less than a penny on a curb. And that was a part of the whole plan to strip you of your confidence, because you were always at that time so self-assured to a degree. So they wanted to strip you of that. So they withheld support, or they didn't care about your side of the story. Some of y'all like, why when I was going through my darkest hours, nobody even cared about my side of the story? That was a part of the whole plan. Pretend like your side didn't matter, that you, the victim or the survivor, was not really who you were. We're going to pretend to get in your head. It's a mind game. If I take your mind, I can take your life. Get in your head about yourself so you can question your reality. And hopefully you want to check up out of here. Keep in mind that original contract is the objective. Everything else is just moving parts. It's just everything else. Okay? If this is a blessing to you, you can always sow a seed into what I'm doing, okay? My Cash App is on the screen if it is a blessing to you. It is not a requirement or an obligation, but if you would like to bless your girl, you can. But anyway, so what ended up happening is you accepted it. Okay, you don't want to support me? Fine. You don't care about my side of the story and whatever's going on? Fine. You're going to pretend like I'm a villain, I'm a bad person, when all of the odds are clearly stacked against me, right? When you look at your situation, the odds were stacked against you. Depending on all of the moving parts of your story and testimony, the opposition had everybody around them, everything they needed. You had too many disadvantages for you to be the bad guy. How are you the bad guy when all of these disadvantages are working against you? And then this person has all of these advantages working for them. How could you be the abuser when everything is working against you? You're the one that's isolated. You're the one that's alone. You're the one that has all kinds of things easily. I can see you're vulnerable. And this person got all of these moving parts over here, and somehow they're the victim. Somehow they're the one that's abused. Let's be 100 here. They knew that. All those people knew that. They knew you didn't do nothing wrong. But it was all a part of this plan, right? So thinking that this was going to alter your destiny forever, you'll never come back. And everybody get you out the way, because you being in your own essence, it makes people feel inadequate. It makes people feel insecure. And you wasn't even in your full strength or authority then. But everybody copied off you, took little bits and pieces of your personality, your style, your cadence, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you dress, the way you act, your interests, your hobbies. They took parts of you. Everybody did. And when the opportunity presented itself for somebody to kick you and then everybody could dogpile, they took it. And that's why when you looked around, you're like, not you too, Judas. You too. My bestest, my closest. Yeah, them too. Yeah, them too. They was wearing a mask the whole time. Not because they are an evil person, because they were in a sinful life. Anyone that is in a sinful life will be hijacked against you. For as long as you are in this anointed physical, like you are anointed, but as long as you're in this physical state, you're going to be dealing with this all the time. People always trying to plot and scheme to try to betray you. But later on in life, when you're in your full strength, once you see the energy shift, you out of there. Because what we do, we're spiritual travelers. We don't stay nowhere too long, for real. If you're highly anointed, you don't stay nowhere too long, right? If you get close encounters with people, you come, you plant seeds, you shift the atmosphere, you will stay for a minute. If it's not your demonstration, right? So if it's not your business, you probably won't be on their job long. If it's not your stuff, right? If it's not yours, then you won't be there long. So you just plant seeds, and then you shift the culture, you shift the environment. And then once the energy starts shifting towards something hostile, you ease your way out before it becomes traumatic. God tells you on to the next assignment, on to the next mission. But before you got there, all of this stuff was happening to you, God said, be quiet. You did that. God said, don't say anything. Don't do anything. Allow everything to be removed from you. Release it all. Because I'm about to replace it with stuff that this is about to be mind blowing. The demonstration that you're about to be living in is going to be mind blowing. So this person and these people got a version that was like a great value version of your destiny. It wasn't even for real. It was a low level. They got to live ghetto fab for a little minute. They ain't getting no real supreme abundance and opulence. These people got some project. I'm not trying to diss it, but they got some project ghetto fabulous version of your destiny for a little minute, and they start feeling themselves getting a little hot. And while they're doing that, in this false spotlight, right? They thought they took your light, and so they were in this false spotlight, experiencing stuff they never experienced, which was really just attention, right? Just attention. So now they got the attention because you never had to fight to get it. So you're in the background just accepting all of this, and it is your acceptance that God is allowing for you to see that He had been with you the whole time. But now your surrender is what has shown to God that you are ready. You are ready to get this revelation. Before you can do, He has to reveal, right? Like He did with Moses when he presented Himself as the burning bush, He revealed the instruction. Right? Not only did He reveal the instruction to Moses, He also revealed the ability, because Moses struggled with doubt, chronic doubt. He's like, I can't. Who, me? I can't help these people out of this situation. Like, you trying to make me responsible for a whole body of people. I don't have the great communication skills. I don't have the words to say. I don't know what to do to help these people and guide them out of bondage. Do you understand what, all of the odds and stuff against me, right? We're outnumbered. We're out authorityed. We got people in high places that are watching us. I can't go toe to toe with them, God. So He dealt with chronic self-doubt, and so did you. When you surrendered, and once God allowed you to go through that crucifixion process, and once He allowed you to go through all of that, you just accepted. So it is in that quietness or what have you, where you started feeling a little bit more peaceful. So all of the crying that you did when you were asleep, and all of the nights where you were writing in your journal because you felt like your voice didn't matter, and all of this, that became fewer and fewer nights. So fewer nights you would cry, and fewer nights you would write. Why? Because God was now giving you peace over time. That became your gift from Him to you. That because of your surrender, I am going to give you peace in the midst of the storm. You're not out of the storm, but I'm still going to give you this peace while you're going through the storm. So it's that passage in Psalms 23, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. I'm still walking through the shadow. I'm still in it, but I'm not fearing it. It's not overtaking me. I'm not conquered by it, right? So it is in this time where God is now giving you pieces of peace. Now the crying becomes fewer and the writing becomes fewer, because He's filling you up again. Here we go again. God is about to recharge you yet again. Now He's filling you up again. But this time He's going to reveal, because these people are after your life. You understand? It wasn't just breaking you. It wasn't enough. It's, I don't want you here. For as long as you here, I'm number 2. Keep in mind, this is something that somebody made up in their head. This is the danger of covetousness. This is the danger of wanting to walk in the shoes of another person. This is the sick psychopathy of an individual who has extreme insecurities, don't know who they are, and just your 20-30% demonstration of who you were was enough to make them go to extreme measures to go rob you and steal you from you. And it's not enough to watch you become a shell. They want you gone. So this person couldn't do it with their own hands. They had to go a spiritual route because they're a coward. They want to make it look natural. They want to make it look like it was some natural process that happened over time. So nobody could suspect that it was them. They didn't know who you were. They didn't know if you was prophetically gifted for real. You didn't even know to the degree. But what ended up happening? God gave you a divine revelation. He told you that you are whatever he told you. And I'm not going to be the one to tell you what he told you. You were there, you know, and take it to God in prayer if you don't. I can't tell you. I'm not a person pretending to be a psychic. I know what he told me, and I hold that dear to myself. But he said that this is where you are, and this is what you are going to do. Okay? Once he revealed that to you like he did to Moses, he gave you divine instructions. That I'm going to take you up out of this place, out of bondage, because you're in spiritual bondage right now, babes. I'm going to take you out of this spiritual bondage. I'm going to be your compass and your guide. And I am going to give you the words to say. That's the gift of the Holy Spirit. And I'm going to tell you where to go. And I'm going to tell you what to do. And the life that you lived before, it will be no more. So when I guide you out of this place, don't you ever look back. So what happened was, you never look back at that family. You never look back at their relationship. You never look back at that job. You never look back at those friends. You never look back at that neighborhood. You never look back. You left with nothing but the instruction. It is your obedience that brought you to this awakening. Now that you have awakened, for many of you, you are in your purpose, right? You're in it. You've been in it for a minute. Now your relationship is stronger than it's ever been with God. Now, what happens to that one that wanted to be you? What happened was, in the midst of all of this, God gave you the revelation, right? To not just get you out of bondage, but to combat it. It is in this place that God, he removes the veil, right? So you did not know, you wasn't privy to this level of spirituality, that people can do this, that they can alter people's lives at will. They can make it look natural and organic. You didn't know. You didn't know. But you had the ability to know, but you didn't know how to go access that ability. This is where he's going to let you go access it, because he can trust you now. You accepted nothing at all. When everything was gone, you accepted that fate. The car, the whatever position you had, your profession, whatever status you had, you accepted ground zero. Okay, if it's gonna go, go. Everybody that's want to go with them. Everything that wants to leave, leave me. I don't care. The house, the dog, the kids, everything, go. But I'm not about to check out of this life. I felt the omnipresence of God, and I know how powerful it is, and I'm going to trust this process. It is in that surrender. He gave you the instruction. He told you, get up out of here, just like he did with Lot, because what I'm about to do back here, to this situation right back here, you don't even want to see what's about to happen to these people, what's about to befall on this situation. And it's not your job to sit back here and watch to see what's going to befall upon these people. You have a job to do. You have a mission. You have a purpose. You have a destiny to fulfill. But you're too great for me to just let somebody just take your life from you. I have too much greatness in you for me to just let them just dog you and then take your life so they can live some superficial dream. So he spared you because he's invested in you. It's not for you, it's for him. So once he gathered you up and got you up out of that place and said, don't you ever look back. I don't care if they try to call you through fly a kite to get to you, call you through a tin can, email you, whatever. Don't talk to them ever again. Not because they are just evil people, but they're not a part of your destiny and where you're going. They were used to be a part of your story to awaken you. They were a catalyst to your spiritual growth. They are not a part of this whole, the book of your life. They're just a chapter. That's it. And it has been written and it's over with. So the trauma that you experienced back there was just a chapter that has been written. You've outlived that chapter. We're on to the next chapter now. And so any characters that were a part of that chapter, they're back there. Nobody reads a book backwards, do they? I don't know too many people that start from the end of a book and go to the beginning. Okay? So you have to keep moving forward. So as you move forward, he revealed to you not only the instructions and the job that he has for you, he also revealed the reward. Not for you, though. The abundance, the blessings, the prosperity, it's never supposed to be just for you. Once God opens a door that no man can close, it's simultaneously for others as well. You will be a destiny helper for others as well. What is our compatibility? On my journey, what I've realized is most of us who are generational curse breakers, we come from families who were in divination, witchcraft, superstition. That's where we come from. I don't know about you, but I know many of the prophetic and anointed people that I know. That's where we come from. Those are the reason why our families were so poverty stricken, addiction stricken, so much brokenness in these families. They had portals and open doors, and they were extremely disobedient to God. We were surrounded by unclean spirits and filth in a filthy culture that we thought was normal. You were the only one that submitted to this process to create, for God to create a new covenant, to live and step into a new lifestyle and a new standard of just divinity alone. Nothing else. Not your own might, not throwing crystals and rocks over your shoulders. And I'm not stepping on the toes of my brothers and sisters who are very spiritual people. I believe that you guys are prophetically gifted, but that's just me. I believe that you're very prophetically gifted. However, it's in your blood to be able to manipulate at will. And to a degree, sometimes we dibble and dabble in the manipulation ability. Not, we didn't do no kitchen magic or nothing like that. But many times, like, you would ghost people and you would pout a little bit to get your way, right? You could kind of you had the gift of gab. Many of us, we could use some of our ability to get what we wanted sometimes. And if you are a woman, then you probably have a natural sex appeal. You probably have a natural ability to seduce. I'm sure you have some natural allure and mystery to you. And to a degree, you may have used your enchantment to lure people to you, give them a vibe for a short time, and then you kick them to the curb, right? Because you were broken. And you were fearful of closeness to a degree, some people too, right? So it was kind of like a nuance. You wanted people around, but then you pushed them away. You know, you wanted company, then you were a chronic ghoster. You ghosted people. You know what I'm saying? And it's this push and pull that you did with people. You didn't mean no harm, but you were in that active bloodline of manipulation. That's witchcraft. That's where we come from. That's our bloodline. So what God wants to do is to use that ability for him, for his kingdom, for the kingdom of light. So all of that you have, that intuitive ability, so did your family. So did these other people. But they're using it for profit, for selfishness, and for evil. God wants to use your ability for advancement of the kingdom of the light, to restore people, to bring people back to balance, to bring them back into the fold of him, to bring them back to life. So he gave you the instruction. You kept on moving. What ends up happening from here, from this point, is the people back there, back in Sodom, back in Gomorrah, back in that place, wherever you left them, they're out of your energy, right? So they're completely out of your auric field. And they can feel it, right? If you did your work, if you did your healing work and you trauma dig like you were supposed to, and you gave those people a mental funeral and you put them to rest the way you were supposed to, then the last act, it should be the first. This is how I teach my clients. I teach my clients your first act is forgiveness. So you won't have to go through everything we went through. But that last act of severance, to sever the cord between you and them, because they was funneling your energy to them. Right? So whenever you come into some type of positivity, they could feel it, right? And that's when they start watching you a little bit close, monitoring to see, are you in a season where something is going good? Do you have maybe a new job? Do you have a new relationship? What's going good in your life? And then if something was going good, they was able to go back and go do some more works, maybe altar work or whatever they were doing, to tap into that energy and funnel it back. And you'll start to feel that pull on your spirit, like somebody tapping in. Right? Stuff would be going good. It may dwindle back down. They were monitoring to gauge if you were if you were up, or if you were down. And if you were up, they could go and tap in, and then they could siphon. And that's how they were extending their lifeline without you knowing it. But what happened is the way that you completely kicked them out of your auric field is that you forgave. God told you to forgive. You understand? They brought you to your promise without them knowing it. Their curse to you was the blessing of a lifetime for you. And the person that wanted your destiny the most was the catalyst to your growth. The Judas in your life, the one that was relentless with trying to destroy you, was the greatest blessing of your story. And that person, that one, it was one, you know who it was. That one who was relentless at trying to make your life a living hell, that person was the greatest blessing to your life under the guise of a curse. And it's that individual that revealed your gifting to you. They came bearing a gift under the guise of a curse. See, they had smallpox and a blanket and all of that stuff. And they thought that once they threw it on you, you were going to succumb to sickness and you were going to be out of here. Right? We're going to just put the spirit of infirmity on him, put the spirit of infirmity on her. They gone. I'm going to get my blessing. I'm going to get what's meant for them. But instead of making you sick, you became immune to it. You get me? You understand me? Instead of making you sick, you became immune to it. Right? Like the little Marvel characters. Right? You became immune to it. All of that warfare, all of that witchcraft, all of that root work, all of that magic, all of that. Whatever they were using, all of the yoking, all the binds, all the ties, all the curses, all the altar work, every offering they gave, it charged you greater, made you bigger, gave you more vast knowledge. You were able to tap into the darkness and see what tools they were using. This became a lesson of a lifetime for your gift. This was a classroom to you. It was a curse to them, but this was a classroom to you. Thank you for the offering of a lifetime. Now you were able to watch the way darkness uses certain tools and instruments and how it was able to succumb and overcome people, overtake people, and take people and drag them into the underground of life. And they never know why their life became what it was. Why they sleeping under a bridge. Why they lost their mind and they never came back. They were never able to come into the revelation. But you did. You did. And it was not just for you. This was going to be the blessing for others. So many of God's people have been undertaken and overtaken and drugged into the undergrounds of life, the underworld with the enemy. They lost their way. They never came back because nobody came to tell the testimony of how this stuff actually destabilizes. And it's not the end. It's not the end of your story. You can always get it back and better. But if God restores you and he reveals to you what's the source of your contention and what is presented itself to be an anchor in your life, your job is to now, after he restores you and brings you back to balance, to go out and be a fisherman among men as well, to be a seed planter as well, to tell your testimony as well, to go help other prophetic people who are into divination, to bring them out so that they can be generational curse breakers as well. We wasn't born into these families for them to overtake us. We was born into these situations for us to learn, study their master, and overtake it. Whatever it is that had been holding all of this stuff shackled and bound. So God gave us the keys. He gave you the keys to go unlock it. And once you unlocked it in you, you set so many others free as well. You was never supposed to take this route. You understand? When them people went and did that spiritual contractual agreement, you was never supposed to take this route. You was just supposed to accept defeat and go on. Right? And they were supposed to be dancing and having a whole powwow and a party and enjoying themselves and a celebration. Nobody knew you were going to surrender to God. No one knew you was prophetically gifted. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. You didn't even know for real. But now you do. And now we forgive. It is in that forgiveness that you sever the tie and you cut the cord. Once the cord is gone, they can feel it. Their fate is sealed. It's sealed. Now they're in their default setting. Whoever they were before they met you and came in contact with you, they are back at that level, at that place. Because keep in mind, they did no work. They just pretended they were in your energy, pretending, acting like they were high vibrational, acting like that they were anointed and elevated in advance, but they weren't. So now they drop back down to zero. Now you, my dear, keep in mind, before your awakening, you was at 20 and 30%. Some of y'all right now, you might be at 50, 75. And for those of you guys who are not, but you at 80 and 90%, life is about to become unrecognizable. And with this life comes great responsibility, because we can't afford to be emotional. We can't. So now I go back to talking about the spirit, the destiny altering. For as long as you are in the physical form as your anointed self, you will always be dealing with people who are going to be trying to come and steal your stuff and pretend to be you and walk like you, talk like you. But we are okay with that because we are masters. We are masters. We have not mastered the spiritual. We are masters at whatever it is that God has called us to do, though. The way that we're able to overcome these people and their attempts to try to mirror us, number one, we're not mad. They're supposed to do that. If you wasn't you, you would be enamored and impressed as well. Let's be 100. All human beings are inspired by other human beings. All of us. We take bits and pieces from one another all the time, and then we try to make it our own. But no, highly anointed spiritual people, we don't have people just taking it and making it their own. No, they want to make yours theirs. Right? They become obsessed with trying to conquer your authority. It's an opposition. Now you want to fight. You want to fight me because I'm me? Like you don't like my existence? You like it, but you want it for yourself. So we deal with Jezebelic people. It's an authority for authority, right? Altar versus altar. We always deal with dark altars versus the light altars. It's God's altar versus Satan's altar, right? So it's altar for altar. It's kingdom for kingdom. It's authority for authority. They want to rah-rah because you walked in the room. All I did was walk in the room. What's the problem? No, it's no problem because you are the manifestation of a solution. You are a walking solution. So there is no problem. It's the fact that you possess it. I want it. Oh, well, that's a personal problem. That's a you problem. What you have to understand is that just because someone could put you on parts of you as a costume, it doesn't mean that they possess the mastery of who you are. The way that if it irritates you, because we're human, we're not, immortal. So you have emotions. If it irritates you, become something that they have to work to become. So what that means is do things that they can never do, or they're going to have to work a long time to do it. So one thing that I will say, and a lot of fitness people who are like really masters in their craft when it comes to fitness, wellness, and fitness, dietary, and wellness, those people talk about getting in that gym. Why? Most people who are extremely successful, they get in the gym because that's the only thing that you could be, whether you poor or broke. That could be a success story, right? Getting in the gym, mastering your body, learning the muscle groups, learning your macros, learning all of that, and actually sculpting that and becoming one with your body and getting in that gym week after week, month after month, year after year, and becoming something so impressive because of your discipline that no one can take it away. You can't take a person with a nice body away if they went and got it in the gym. You can't. In order to be like that or look like that or possess that, you have to go put in the work. So I'm saying that as an analogy for everything that you do. Become a master and skilled at it. That even if they wanted to be it, it's not even close to it. They can't even touch it. And you're so consistent in being yourself and being good at it that they'll get tired trying to pretend to be you. Do you understand what you're you, right? So it's not a big deal. You're used to carrying these heavy loads, but them trying to put themselves in your shoes 1 hour, not a day, 1 hour, they're out for the count. They couldn't last an hour in your shoes. They want the results, but they don't know what it takes to get it. And when they get a little glimpse of the work and the labor that it takes to get it, they're exhausted and they get even more envious. Oh my God, it takes too much work to be you. Make them outwork themselves. That's what you do. And the ringleader or whoever really wanted your spot, watch them fall on their own sword through self-destructive behavior. When you forgive people, you release them. You release them to their own devices. They're reprobate. When you're dealing with a malignant, sociopathic, psychopathic, narcissistic person who was so envious of you and what you possess as a person that they wanted to go the divination route to go get it, that individual is suicidal. Let them go on about their business. Don't be mad. They're going to fall on their own sword. You're going to look up and their self-destructive, sinful behavior will be the fall of them. You don't have to lift no finger. You don't have to seek no revenge. They are their own worst enemy because Satan has him in their grips because they're prideful and they're arrogant and they destroy people's lives and just walk on into the sunset like nothing happened. It is their oblivion to what they have done to the lives of other people that will make them have to be like that lady Nancy in that movie, The Craft. Somewhere in a institution, in an insane asylum, talking to themselves. Whatever they wanted for you will become their reality. Whatever they wanted for you, whatever manifestation they spoke over you, whatever intention they set for you, it will be their reality. Release them. Go on about your business. Let them do whatever they want to do. Let them say whatever they want to say. They know they are in defeat. And all you had to do was just lock in and surrender to God. And just like that, your destiny is restored sevenfold. So as you move on from this traumatizing place, because it's all trauma. It probably don't hurt now because you know. But as you move on to from this traumatizing place, it is from here that you walk into your destiny and you do what God has called you to do. You be brave in what he's called you to do. You go uncover the hidden occultic secrets that these people who are in positions who positions that they are not qualified for, by the way, to be in. You go speak the words that God has called you to speak without fear and with great courage.